I was miserable. I was running this business predominantly from my home office, where I lived in an apartment. My second bedroom was turned into an office. And I felt completely lonely, totally isolated and lost. Something that I think so many people experience, but not very many of us talk about. And I crumbled. I started to question everything, and I started to think questions like, what am I doing? What is the point of all of this? And the more I thought about those questions, the more confused I felt. And then the more confused I felt, the more these negative thoughts would cloud my mind, the more I began to doubt everything and worry about everything and just question everything. And as the months rolled by, I became more and more negative, more and more self-defeatist. And literally, this positive, optimistic, and go-get-it person that I once was had just disappeared. I'd become totally negative and self-sabotaging. I'd come up with ideas, I'd shoot them down, I'd talk myself out of it. Then it got to 2010, and I felt like I was in complete despair. And so I packed my bags, and I went traveling to Australia in the hope of having an epiphany. Spent 3 months traveling around Australia, no epiphany. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? So then I came back to the UK and felt even more miserable than before because all of my problems were still waiting for me and the weather was rubbish. So then I was just like, what am I going to do? So for the next few months, I felt myself being suffocated by my problems, where you feel like you just can't get rid of these doubts and these worries, and it was all I used to focus on. I would come up with ideas, I would find opportunities, and I just talked myself out of it, thinking that I couldn't do it. And then finally, in 2011, I figured out where I was going wrong. And I believe I was going wrong for two massive reasons. The first reason was that, yes, I wanted to be successful, and quite frankly, doesn't every single person in this room want to be successful? But mobile phone unlocking was not my dream. And at the time, I was reading this book by Michael Gerber called The E-Myth. And in The E-Myth, there's this chapter on primary aims. And Michael Gerber says, imagine walking into a room, and sat in the room are your friends and family. And as you walk down the center of the room, you see a box. And as you get to the front of the room, you realize that you're in the box, and it's your funeral. And he says, what kind of things do you want people to be saying about the kind of life that you lived, about the kind of person that you were, and the kind of things that you achieved? And I realized I had no idea. So there was no wonder that I felt so off track. I had never, ever been on track. And the second reason why I think I went wrong is because of what was going on up here, what was going on in my head, all these doubts, all these worries, all this self-limiting belief. And I came across a quote by Anthony Robbins that said, your destiny is determined by the choices you make. Choose now, choose well. And I realized that I was responsible for this misery. I was responsible for the fact that I was stuck in a rut. I remember looking at my life thinking, I am waking up every single day and focusing on my problems. I am waking up every day and giving so much focus and attention to all of these awful thoughts, these doubts and these worries. I'm coming up with ideas and I'm shooting them down. I'm talking myself out of doing anything whatsoever. And I realized that if I wanted to live an incredible life and achieve amazing things, and I really did, that I had to get my mind to be on the same wavelength as me. I realized that I had to figure out what it was that I wanted to achieve, why I wanted to achieve it, why it actually meant something to me. I had to figure out the kind of person that I needed to become in order to make it happen. And then I had to program my mind to make it happen. I had to program my mind for success. And that is exactly what I ended up doing. Mission success began. And so I started this off by thinking about, what do I actually want? And so I looked at my life and I thought, I love being an entrepreneur. I love coming up with ideas and turning them into a reality. It's so much fun. And then I looked at my problems and thought, I feel really lonely and lost as an entrepreneur. And I looked at them with a different perspective. Rather than feeling really bad about it, I thought, what can I do about it? There must be other people out there that are in exactly the same position as me. So I came up with this idea to create the Female Entrepreneur Association, and it sounded so official. And I was doing it, and I had this massive idea. I would create this global network of thousands of women from all over the world and help to inspire them and connect them and just help to empower them to build successful businesses. But I had no idea how I was going to do this. So then I was like, right, I need to program my mind to make this happen. So I started by becoming consciously aware of all the things I was thinking of every day. And whenever I'd catch myself thinking something like, Carrie, who is going to come to this website? Who are you to give advice to anyone? This is rubbish. This is a ridiculous idea. You're never going to be able to do it. Every time I caught myself saying something like that, I would stop myself. And I realized that I had the power to take control over my thoughts rather than letting them control me. I knew that I could stop myself from thinking these things, and I did. I replaced the negative, rubbish, annoying thoughts and told them to shut up, and I replaced them with positive thoughts that were empowering me, thoughts that were actually helping me to move towards my goal. I also started to listen to guided visualizations to program my subconscious mind for success. And I got really into doing visualizations, vividly picturing what I wanted to achieve, seeing it happen, and then feeling it happen like it was happening right then and there, just like all the top athletes do. I got so clear on what I wanted to make happen. And since then, my life has totally changed. And I realized that if I could get my mind to be certain that I could make something happen, that somehow I would figure out a way. And I always have, because success is no accident. Living an incredible life is no accident. You have to do it on purpose. And it starts by knowing exactly what it is that you want to achieve, knowing why you want to achieve it, knowing the kind of person that you need to become in order to make it happen, and then programming your mind to make it happen. Because you just have one life in which to achieve everything you are going to achieve, so you have to act accordingly. Thank you so much.